Right. First off, thank you very much, everybody, for joining in on another WKS Zoom podcast moment. This time I'm with a band called Broken Down. How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Pretty,
Thanks, man. That's
pretty
great.
good, man.
Cool, thanks.
All things
Yeah,
considered.
thanks,
Brilliant. Brilliant. All right, then. So let's start off. I mean, I know a lot about you purely because you're from my hometown, and I know, friends with you for a while now. But can we start with Adam then, and then just say what part you play in the band?
Yeah, so I'm Ads, and I play guitar in the band, and I'm the technical genius behind our world-class sound.
So we've got
Wow.
Phil
And
next.
also the most modest member of the band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What way
Phil
to kick
next,
it off?
then. Let's go for Phil next.
Sorry, me.
Mm,
Hey, if you don't know me, I'm Phil. I play bass in the band, and I'm the one who usually breaks things. But yeah, I try my best not to do that with a regularity.
okay. What about Ben?
How you doing, guys? I'm Ben. I play drums in the band and do some backing singing as well to try and keep Gwill in tune as best I possibly can. And obviously on the drums to keep nice and tight with Phil.
Brilliant. Gwill.
Yeah, I'm Gwill. I'm the singer and I play rhythm guitar some nights, depending on how much alcohol I've had to consume. And fun fact, I've left the band 322 times in the past 10 years. But as you can tell, I've rejoined every time. So that's cool.
Brilliant. So how did you guys get together then as Broken Down? Let's go with Adam again.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, we've known each other forever, basically. Ever since we were old enough to be underage to get into a bar or a pub or a club. We've been sinking back the bevies together. So the story's a long one, but most recently we were in a sort of metal band called Broken, and then in a desire to really, sounds awful actually when you say it like this, make a bit of cash out of play some more gigs. It was at the time when the sort of metal scene, you had to basically give your blood, your sweat, and your soul to play to gigs of 6 awesomely, wonderfully sweaty people in the back of a room somewhere.
Twice a year.
And it would cost you, to go and do it. So we thought to ourselves, hang on a minute, we've got all this, this sort of talent. No, we didn't think that at all. We thought that actually it'd be just great to get out and do some stuff. So we decided to come up with this idea of Broken Down, the sort of stripped out version. That was Gwills and myself. What years ago? How many years ago?
It was circa 2011, 2012.
Yeah, that sort of time. And then, that was the sort of premise for it, really. And then it was obviously that natural progression to get Ben in on drums. And Phil was away at the time, and he came back and slipped seamlessly into the fold as the sort of bass playing legend that he is. Right,
Brilliant. So let's talk about because most people down this end will know you as a covers band, really, but yeah. I do know that you have been producing your own stuff as well. Okay, so just describe on your own music how you create it, your own sound.
Probably for Gwills, that one, isn't it?
I'll take that if you like.
Well, let's start off with who's the lyricist?
I think safe to say that's probably me. Although I know back in the broken metal band days, Ben did have input on lyrics as well, and he's a good lyricist as well. But I think I've taken on most of it in this iteration of a band. So yeah, I would have said so. I'd say that I've been responsible for writing most of the lyrics, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sort of like your songwriting process then. Are the lyrics first for you guys? Do you come up with them well first, or is it?
No, I don't. I mean, like as I said, I can play guitar as well, so I always come up with a tune before I come up with before I come up with. Well, sometimes I do have words in mind, but I'd never have a tune and never have like words that I've got assigned to a tune, if that makes sense.
Right.
I'd play something and then make something to work with that.
Mm.
Either do that, or as the case has been most of the time with us, it's usually Ad and I, or Ad will come up with the music, and then a guitar track, and he'll bring it to us, and then I'll write the words, and then the rest of us will learn our bits and figure out our nuances in the song, and then
So and Adam, you tend to be the main sort of I don't know if it's the right word, tech man in the band then. Is that
Yeah,
right?
just basically because of my obsession with a very bad case of GAS. Do you know what I mean? But it's I guess.
I thought it was Ben who had the GAS in the band.
different one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Gear acquisition syndrome. Do you know what I mean? It's a terrible affliction, but yeah, no, I've always kind of been interested in that technical side of it, really. Not so much how the equipment works, but more just the level of manipulation that you can apply to sound. I just think it's fascinating. And so I've never ever been able to write a song in 20 odd years of playing guitar. I can't write a song from beginning to end because I just can't sing, basically, and I find it really hard to hear a melody or a tune. But yeah, along with that sort of interest in the technical stuff, I'm also quite interested in the theory. So I like applying what I'm learning to try to write a sort of chord progression or a riff or something like that. But then once I've done that, my job is done. I can sit back and drink a few tins while the other boys take over with it, really. So yeah, it's been that's kind of, I guess that's how it's worked if it's been a new song. But as is the case with quite a lot of the stuff that we've done that is original, we just bring an idea to a rehearsal and then just thrash it out, and that's I think that's where we've definitely done our best songs.
Okay.
All four of them.
Yeah.
Right, Ben, we'll start with you with this one. What do you think's has been your, the band's best gig?
Oh, crumbs. Now.
Where, obviously.
Only 250 to choose from.
As in our best performance.
Well, your
it's
choice.
Quite hard to combine the two. I think probably one of my favourite gigs is the amazing Maisie weekend on Key Day, when we get to play. Well, Maisie weekend we usually play throughout the whole weekend, either down the chapel in Chapel Street, and then on Key Day we set up outside the Lugger. And I think the first time we ever played there, it's just we had no idea how many people were going to be attending. Obviously, just randoms in the street to, people who actually come to see us. There must have been about 4 or 5 down the front there that actually came to see us. But yeah, the streets were just packed. Roads were closed, obviously. Police were all down there getting involved, and it's just a real raucous gig. But it's those ones that give us the buzz to bounce off each other and have a great time as well. But there's it's so hard to pin an actual best gig, because some of the little pubs that, like in the Farmers Arms, for example, it gives us a chance just to relax and completely be ourselves and enjoy just playing what we do. And that can be as amazing gig as playing in front of 1,000 people on the prom. So it's quite hard to pinpoint. 2 very different favourites there, but definitely a chilled out session in the Farmers to a big stage on Key Day in front of thousands of people.
Ideal. What about yourself, Phil? Would you go with that one, or?
Yeah, I think I would probably agree. I mean, I don't know. I think we're really lucky in that every gig we play generally is good fun. I can think of hardly any examples where we've had to really work at it. And either that's because we're on the right wavelength with people, or maybe we've had a bit too much to drink and so have they. But whatever it is, I don't believe in fighting it. Yeah, I mean, if you have people on your side, we are very, very driven by audience feedback.
Yeah.
So
I thought you were going to say very, very drunk then.
Oh well, we're generally quite. That has been known to be true as well. But yeah, we are certainly. We play to the crowd, and if that means acting the goat a bit, so much the better for me. I love that sort. So anything you can do to whip people into a frenzy without being too scripted about it, for me is brilliant. So yeah, Key Day is always amazing. And likewise, Marazine Carnival, places like that, where it's, you know, maybe it's not, you don't necessarily get the sound you want on stage, or you don't necessarily get this or that, but you can just sort of, as long as you've got something, you can just run with it and have fun. And that, I think, is I think what we do really well is have fun with it, you know.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Okay, so we could do like a round robin. If we start with Adam and this one and go round, who would you most like to collaborate with if you had the choice? I suppose living or dead, live, whatever.
That is a great question. Who would I most like to collaborate with? Does it have to be a single person or an art or like a band?
Your choice, mate. Your choice.
Okay, cool. Oh man, that's tough, isn't it? That's really tough. If I
have to go first on.
Yeah.
I'd go for, if I could collaborate with a band and just, like, you know, stand on the side of the stage and do it. That would, I think AC/DC, just the sort of drive, you know, and you know, I get the impression that they might be, you know, sort of, you know, they might enjoy a party like us, to be honest. I think that would work.
Superb. Let's go then on my screen, Ben.
I was going to think of somebody really funny to collaborate with, but it wouldn't actually be true. Someone, if I had the opportunity to play in a really big band with a whole bunch of like crazy musicians, would be something like Tower of Power or something. So there's like 30, 40 members of the band that are just absolutely letting rip on stage with full percussion section, jazz, funk, everything going on that you can just experiment with, you know, and just see what our sort of style would be like, absolutely funked up to its max even.
Superb.
Yeah, something on those lines anyway.
Yeah. What about you, Gwill?
This is a very easy one for me. Unfortunately, not living, but it'd have to be Chris Cornell. Closely followed by Eddie Vedder, I'd expect. Because they're probably my two biggest vocal influences. I know I don't sound anything like either of them, but yeah, they're the kind of two that I'd, you know when they say aim high, you know, and you'll arrive somewhere probably below it, but it'll be good. That's what I aim for. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Brilliant. Phil?
It would have to be, again, sadly not alive, it'd have to be Van Halen. Either just Eddie Van Halen on his own, or in the original incarnation of the band, the early years of the band, just yeah. Brilliant. Electricity and water, man. Just like, wow. Yeah.
Superb. So musically, have you got any sort of stuff out there at the moment, or plans to get stuff out there, after this?
Well, it's funny you should ask.
Yes. So who wants to take that one?
I'll go for what we've got out there at the minute, and then maybe leave one of the other boys to say what we've got in the bag. Phil's sounding confident on that. It's news to me. Out there at the minute, we've got our little EP, Please Arrive in Time. That's on iTunes, and it's been there for a long time. We're all desperate for some cash, so if you're watching this and you fancy picking it up, it's only about £2.50, but that'll feed one of us for a week. So and our families. So yeah, you can find it on there. It's sometimes a bit tricky to find. If you type in Broken Down, it doesn't come up. So if you type in Please Arrive in Time, you'll find it on there, and that's all we've got out in the kind of digital ether at the moment. But
saying that though, Gwill, sorry to interrupt you, but you can find 1111 through the
that's a good point. Yeah,
Facebook page.
Yes, that's the track we didn't have on the album, but we have actually released that, and there's a music video for that as well on there, which is great. Shot by Down South Media, Carl Richardson.
Yeah. Perfect. So what's in what's in the pipeline, guys?
Well, we're thinking. I mean, let's not gloss over 2020 too much, but my word, what a year that was, wasn't it? So at the beginning of the year, dad unfortunately broke his hand, which we sidelined us. We cancelled. We only ended up having to cancel 2 gigs, but luckily he was fine. And at the time, we thought, man, things cannot get any worse than this. Little did we know. So we did a couple of Facebook Lives and what have you. And as Gwill was saying, we shot that video when we were allowed to meet again in that little interim period before the whole planet was locked up again. So that was cool. So we've been thinking we should do another kind of collaboration or an online collaboration. We can do all our bits, splice it together, and just chuck it up on our page or what have you. So that's in the planning stages, and I think is likely probably a month away, maybe. But
should be with you by 2025. I think we're for release.
That's on the card. So we're going to do that just fun more than anything else. And we had plans to shoot another video maybe in September, but again that hasn't worked out. So yeah, we're going to do some online stuff with each other, as we can't. I'm allowed to go to Sainsbury's with 300 people, but I can't pop round to Ad's place for a beer.
Yeah. So who got the phone call from Michael Eavis cancelling this year for you then, guys?
Yeah, we were gutted about it, man. Yeah.
I know it's such a bloody, it's a blow, isn't it? But it's all going to make for one massive party next year.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah.
And we've only just started this year, and we're talking about next year's mental.
It is, man. It's interesting you mentioned Glastonbury as well, because it was a bit of a tough decision for us to say that we weren't able to headline this year, and then that's forced them into cancelling the whole festival.
Yeah.
Due to impending online collaboration, we had to cancel Glastonbury.
We are now available for Maisie Day, should that go ahead, but that's
we wait and see on that one, don't we?
Yeah,
we do.
Right,
all right, then throwaway questions, starting with Adam. Do you sing in the shower?
What do I sing in the shower?
Yes or no?
Oh, no.
Do you?
Ben?
Sorry, yeah, I'm with you.
Yes, as much as possible.
Well,
not often, actually. Surprisingly, not as much as I used to.
And you're being the lead singer. That's a weird one, isn't it?
I know. You know why my performances are like they are, like because I don't even practice in the shower.
Phil?
No, I don't. No, I sometimes hum guitar solos, which is probably bordering on the perverted, but yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so you're all now talking to a younger version of yourself. Okay, whatever that was, maybe you're 13, 14 years old. Think back to those days. Starting with Phil.
Yeah.
What advice would you give yourself?
Controversial, this one. I would say, do what you want to do. All that job chasing careers nonsense is exactly that, nonsense. Try and do something you enjoy, and don't get too hung up on the job. All it's doing is paying the bills to let you do the things you enjoy. So if you can find a balance somewhere in the middle and maybe do a job that you actually like, do that.
Superb. Will?
Good advice.
Well, despite the many mistakes and regrets I have in life, I'd tell myself not to change anything. I'd say carry on and go with the flow and go with karma. Go with what's that word?
Karma's quite a good one.
Yeah. I just because I just think you look back, don't you, and you have so many. You think of so many times, and you're like, "Oh, I'd change that. But then you have to stop and think, well, where am I now? And where I am now is great. So why change the path? They got you there, despite the hardships along the way. So I'd say don't change anything.
Superb. Ben?
Do you know what? I was going to echo exactly the same thing, because I couldn't have really wished for more. My dream when I lived in the Midlands was, one, to get out of the Midlands. Was
two to meet me
in a band for the rest of my life, which when you're a kid you think I could be in a band, and then when you get in your 40s those kind of dreams usually go, and I didn't exactly make it as a you know, a famous musician, but you know, all my dreams that I set out, I very smaller way. You know, I've got my own business. I still play in a band, earn a little bit of money from it. I live in Cornwall. That was one of my most hopes. So again, I'd echo, the only thing I'd like to have done is probably worked a bit harder at music and, you know, persevere. I'm not very good at persevering. So I would have liked to have stuck with the piano, I get to a certain point with each instrument and then go, that'll do. You know, it's getting too hard now. Apart from the drums, I've persevered with that. I got Baz to thank for that, kicking me up the backside though.
Superb.
But yeah, quite happy how it turned out.
Okay, Adam.
Simple, two things. At 14, learn to play the piano. It will help you. And number two, if you fancy traveling, make sure you do it before 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The rest is fine.
yeah, that's not a
Then we
bad.
close all of our borders to.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I just need to go and grab another beer. I'll be right back.
Okay, well, he's going to have nice. Right. Okay, so the final question. Okay, guys, if we can get over the blinding light that was Phil then. Okay, so final question. I ask everybody the same thing. Is there anybody you want to thank for being here musically now? So let's start with Adam.
Wow.
Yeah, every time has to be Keith Parker from, you know, my guitar teacher. I think probably without him, I may not have got into the metal thing. And playing guitar, you know, it was a fantastic kind of influence on me when in the younger days. Well, still today, but certainly in the younger days, you know, opened me up to that whole genre of music, and taught me how to play guitar. So
Brilliant.
There's much more than that, really. Yeah, Keith Parker, legend.
Okay, Ben.
Yeah, loads of people actually. My parents, first of all, very young age, bought me a drum kit, the crazy people. After I finished playing drums on a pillow for goodness knows how many years, they decided it was time to actually get me a kit. So they've been really supportive with me over the years. I've been in bands. Dad's driven me around in my Volkswagen camper that I own now, driven the band around, taking us to awful gigs in Nottingham. So yeah, they've been really supportive. Baz St. Ledger, obviously, who's pretty much taught me most of what I know since I moved down here. Obviously these guys for putting up with me and welcoming me into the band initially when it was broken. And obviously Keith Parker, he's been a mentor and a pain in the backside for everybody, but he's an awesome guy. And we wouldn't have him any other way, I don't think. So yeah, he's really supported us.
Brilliant. Gwill.
A few people. I think on the kind of going back to like the famous side of things. I remember the main thing I remember about starting to play music, which was quite late for me, it was about year 8 or year 9 at school when we first formed the band with Ad, and we were listening to like Nirvana and The Offspring, Smashed by The Offspring, and Green Day and stuff like that, and that was just like everything for us at the time, and all we wanted to do was go and play that at the school music assembly. So I've got to thank those 3 bands. And then I mentioned for Al Rideout, who I think he died recently, didn't he?
Yeah.
Who was a top guitar teacher and taught me the basics when I was younger, and my parents as well the same. Because like Ben said, at the end of the day, music kind of, you do or die with it, don't you? With your parents' support, and if you can't, if you don't have the access to an instrument and stuff like that, then you can't do it, can you? So as soon as I wanted to play the guitar, I had that opportunity. So yeah, and all of these boys, I guess, because most of my musical life has been spent with one or more of you, and we've always driven each other on, and you've always supported me, and we support each other, don't we? You probably supported me more than I supported you.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. So there you go.
And Phil.
Oh yeah, well obviously these guys. Keith, I would have to mention again, because had it not been for that, I would probably have maybe never met these guys. So isn't it funny how you do one thing. It's all about decisions, I guess, isn't it? You take one random thing out of your life, and where it leads literally changes the path of your entire life. And I know that's true for everyone. But yeah, with music, I think because you become, I think maybe not obsessed, but you know, you fall into that category of like friends or whatever. So certainly, yeah, Keith, these guys definitely for you know, putting up with me. My folks for buying me my first ever guitar, obviously. So cheers for that. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to thank breweries.
Yes.
That's been a huge part of my influence for
I should expect the breweries need to thank you guys, to be honest.
Well, I'm single-handedly doing my best to keep them afloat right now. You know what I mean?
We're all looking
And
for
also,
some
I
sponsors.
would like to thank Nigel and Taff at the Farmers Arms in Penzance. Our first ever proper gig, as Broken Down, was in there. So, cheers, gentlemen.
Superb.
Yeah. Cheers, boys.
I'll raise one to that one. Taff and Nigel.
Yeah.
Cheers, Taff and Nige.
Cheers, boys.
Right, look, guys, almost up on time, but look, I want to say thank you so much. Time and
Thank you,
effort
man.
again coming here and giving me an interview. I know we've done a couple in the past, but this is very different with Zoom. So yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah.
Mate, it's always a pleasure, dude. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. No?
Well, I look forward
Thank you,
to.
Craig.
No worries. I look forward to your next sort of live thing that you do on Facebook. You know what I mean?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All
Something
right.
as soon as we can. That's something will be forthcoming when it. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
As soon as we're allowed. Yeah.
Ideal.
Thanks very
Right.
much. Thanks,
Thank
Craig.
you.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you very much.
Thank you, man.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Craig.
Cheers.
Bye.